Right, all right. Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off by saying, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Paul Holoyam La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakat Kodash, double honors to the elders and apostles for Great Millstone, who rule well, blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that's scattered abroad, the Akim and the Aquat that's listening in, Power Ratazah, willing that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Shuwab, I'm back at you with another lesson. And it's gonna be a quick lesson. Lord willing is edifying, straight to the point. All right. So I'm at an actual a waterfall site, right? And got all the way to the bottom. And the spirit jumped on me to do this lesson to show you, when the times to come, all right, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah has been making us very uncomfortable, all right, with everything around us for a reason, because we're not going to be able to be comfortable in these last days, all right, because when the time comes that all hell breaks loose, all right, we're going to have to flee from, being on the grid, all right, if the spirit allows us, because being part of the grid, being on the grid, all right, is going to be easily it's going to be easy for us to be identified and be targeted, you see. So the Lord, in these last days, he might have you pick up in the middle of the night without you really realizing, man, that you got to go, that you got to be on the run. Okay. As a matter of fact, let me grab a precept I'm thinking about. I believe it's in Matthew. Let's make sure. Give me 1 second. Forgot exactly where it's at, but we're gonna have to basically give up our goods. You're gonna have to put down the things that you once had, that you once possessed. All right, you're gonna have to leave those things. All right. Scriptures talk about how we're gonna be pilgrims upon the earth. Matter of fact, let me grab that one. All right, this is Second Ezra's. All right. Matter of fact, it might be in that actual chapter. All right, this is Second Ezra's 16 and 40, right? It says, let's take it from 37. It says, behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. All right. So the plagues, they draw nigh. All right. Destruction is going to come here to Babylon the Great. And again, we're not going to be able to be comfortable. All right. We're just sitting in one spot. We're going to have to move from spot to spot. Right. You might have to move this way. You might have to move back this way. Right. Going through us being, pilgrims upon the earth. You might have to go through a actual river like this, man, where you have to cross to the other side for safety. You're gonna flee into the woods. You might have to live in the woods for a couple days. You know, this is why Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah has always made us uncomfortable, to have a sense of being uncomfortable. All right, because if you're comfortable, all right, that means you're stagnant. When you're stagnant, all right, you're not growing. You're not learning anything. Okay. And especially in these last days, if you're stagnant, all right, you're gonna pretty much be caught, and you're gonna be a target easily found. You see, you gotta remember, the Lord gonna give us spiritual powers in these last days, man. We might have to jump from here up onto the damn ledge over there to get away from some damn martial law troops that are chasing us, or technology like drones that's trying to catch us while we're out in the wilderness. And this is why you had these damn devils spraying like round off in creeks like this, because in creeks like this is water that's running. So us being in this water that's running, we might be able to drink this water. I don't know about this water, because this water dirty. All right, but if you find a good enough creek where everything is straight, natural, and clear, you might have to drink that type of water, man, to survive. You know, Lord willing that water is not poison. You know, you got to learn how to, when you were in school, they taught you how to filter water with rocks and dirt and things like that, man. You might have to grab some creek water like this and literally survive off of it. You see? So, we're going to constantly be moving, right? So it tells you right here, it says, um, Salakia, it says, even so shall not the plagues come, shall Salakia, so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. O my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle. And in those evils, be even as pilgrims upon the earth. You see, pilgrims, were constantly moving, you know, the pilgrims that came and slaughtered our brothers, right? Gad and Reuben, all right? Them niggas was constantly wanderers because that's what Esau was, man. Right? He was a wanderer in the earth, all right? So he had no place to actually just rest, right? So we're gonna be like that, man. No place to rest, constantly moving, hiding out, from the grid, right? It says, damn, it keeps going up. Salakia. It says, he that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. He that occupieth merchandise, as he has no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein. He that soweth as if he should not reap, so also he that planted the vineyard as he that shall not gather the grapes. Yeah, because we're not going to have anything, man. All right. So the things that you once were involved with are not going to be anymore. You see? And that's why the Lord has taught us to let things go, let go of family, let go of things that you possess and not worry about those things, because the only thing that you should be striving for is your actual your crown, you see, striving for salvation. Okay, so this is what it's gonna be like, man. You're gonna be in these places like this, all right, where nobody's around. All hell's gonna be breaking loose on the outside, and you're gonna be around areas like this, depending where you are. Some places are just straight city like, and you're not gonna see that in the city. Okay, but people that live in Pennsylvania, wherever there's mountains, you got brothers out there in the Idaho, those brothers out there live around a lot of mountains and a lot of, wilderness. You see, this is a sign spiritually of how we're gonna be in the wilderness, So we have to take thought of these things, man. Being ready to lose all the things around us and be very uncomfortable in these last days in a spot like this, casting our burdens upon the Lord so he could sustain us, and that we constantly are just thinking about using nothing but faith, because that's what it's going to come down to, man. When you get put in a situation like this, man, this is a situation where you have no home. You can't just lay down your feet, your feet and your back on a damn bed. You're gonna be in the wilderness, man. So you're gonna have to cast your burdens upon the Lord and have this faith, you see, to be able to get by these things. You know, living in a place like this in the nighttime where there's no light, you're gonna hear all types of animals. That's why you're gonna have to have the name of the Lord so you can be in league with animals, and animals don't come and bother you. Even though there's gonna be all types of, you might run into wolves out here, you know what I'm saying? Bears and shit like that. But because we have the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah and the names, right? We're gonna be able to call on the name of the Lord and have us be protected by the angels in situations like this. You see? And it's dope because look, you got these geese out here chilling, you know, you out here picking, looking for fish. You might have to eat like that, man. Be on a river bank like this, and you're gonna have to try to catch fish. This is why you got to know how to live, outside the grid. You got to have that type of survival instincts, you know. But that's pretty much something I just wanted to share real quick. I didn't want to take too long because I got my family up at the top. But quick little video, and Lord willing, waterfall is a waterfall where I'm at. Very beautiful. I wanted to do a video on the kingdom if I could, Lord willing. All right, real quick, maybe a little 20-minute video at the top, if the spirit allow. It's just that it's getting dark and it's about to close up the park soon. So, just wanted to share that through the spirit, man. We're gonna be like pilgrims upon the earth in situations like this, running away from society, man, that's trying to capture us. Esau, man. You're gonna have all types of inventions, all types of devices, all types of drones looking for us because we're the ones that's on the list, all right, to be captured. They're trying to catch the men of the Lord, they're trying to catch the elect, you see. But hey, you keep your faith up, all right. The Lord is gonna get us through all of this, man. And that's what's gonna make the story so great, you know, in the last days when our stories are already written in the book of life, man. All right, of what we did in these last days, in the last days of Babylon, how we flee, how we put our full trust. As a matter of fact, let's grab that. I'll end it with this. This is Ecclesiasticus, right? 2 and 10. And it reads, look at the generations of old, right? And see, did any trust in the Lord Yahweh Shai and was ever confounded? Or did any ever abide in the spirit and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins and saveth in the time of affliction. You see, and this will be a time of affliction when you have to scatter yourself and separate yourself from the outside world, man, right? From the grid, because technically I'm still in the grid right now, but you don't know where the Lord's going to put us in these last days, man. You don't know where you're going to end up. You might end up in a whole nother state in a FEMA camp, and the Lord break us out of that section, and we end up fleeing to a spot we've never been and have to flee into some woods and end up in a place like this, you see? So as long as we continue to believe, the Lord's going to save in the time of our affliction, right? It says, and that's pretty much the point on that. Yeah. I'll jump down to 14. Woe unto you that have lost patience. And what will you do when the Lord shall visit you? Yeah. So you don't want to ever lose patience, especially that you made it in a place this far, made it to the end, and you're fleeing, all right, from Esau and his minions, all right. And then you give up hope in a place like this. If you make it to a place this far to escape, that already shows you that the Lord's been with you, man, because you should have been caught long time ago, but you're still going, you see? And the Lord is always finding a way to make a miracle so you can constantly pray to him and praise him, you see? And continue to keep making supplication because that's what the Lord loves, man. He loves to hear you beg, especially in a situation like this, man, because you're glorifying the Lord and his works and how he saves in the time of affliction, you see? So I'm gonna pretty much leave it there through the spirit. Lord willing, you were edified. So with that being said, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, call Haloyam La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Barak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad. The Akim and the Akwat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson was edified. So the next one, Shalom. Keep fighting the good fight of faith. Shalom.